Hello and welcome to Sacred State Oracle. I'm doing weekly pick a card general readings to receive intuitive messages for you. Feel free to pause the video to tune in and see which card calls to you. It's a general reading, so take what resonates. And remember, no card reading should dictate your life. Always trust your own intuition and use common sense. If you find these readings helpful, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll know when a new one is up. Your support means a lot and helps the space grow. With that being said, I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, deck number 1. Welcome to this week Pick a Card general reading. I pick my questions intuitively. Sometimes there's a specific question for the week ahead, and sometimes I let Spirit just show us what we need to know. But this week, intuitively, the question that came to my mind was, what are you hiding from? So, deck number 1, what are you hiding from? Let's find out. We're going to open this card and hopefully shed some light on the things that you might be avoiding, you might be hiding from. And it is all for your own highest good to be able to maybe take a look at this part of you and see how it could be beneficial and helpful for you to work with it so that you can find healing, that you can find things that you needed to be able to live more fulfilling life, be more in your power and more in alignment so that you can bring things you want into your existence and let go or release or transmute things that might be, or maybe those are the things that were holding you back. Okay, so deck number 1, are you ready? Let's flip this card and see what's gonna show up. All right. You got forgiveness. Hurt blocks are light. This is a very beautiful card, and it's a very strong lesson for you. It's basically calling you and bringing your attention to forgiveness. I feel for the majority of you, it is involved another person that you, I don't want to say need to forgive, but it would be serving you if you're able to find that in your heart. I feel it's something that you've been carrying for quite some time, and at times you're going over and over in your mind, why this person did what they did, and you find it really hard to move past that. You find it really hard to forgive and let go. But by holding those heavy emotions, you are not letting yourself and your light to shine through. You are hurting yourself more, you're hurting your body, because as we know, very charged emotions and emotions that you go over on a regular basis, whatever your state is emotional, all of the emotions produce chemicals in your body, and those chemicals going to keep your body in a certain way. So what I'm trying to say is holding on to heavily charged emotions is just allowing for those emotions to sit in your body, get stored in your body, and in a way, you're just marinating yourself in it. So I hope you can see how it is not good, not only for your mind, but also for your body and your emotional state. So when we find a way to forgive someone, even for the most horrible things they've done, we do it for ourselves. We don't do it for them. For some of you, I feel like you are still hoping to receive some kind of closure or have forgiveness, have that person ask for forgiveness, but that is something I feel is not helpful to hold on to. If that happens, amazing. If it doesn't happen, I don't want that to hold you back from joy and joyful experiences you still can experience in your life. And then for others, and I'm like, I just see her. actually holding that heart, like holding in her hands. And for some of you, it is your, for the smaller percentage, I feel, or people who are watching this, it's you now forgiving yourself. And again, it is stored in your body, it's slowing you down, it's blocking the heart. It's like literally, I feel like affecting the heart, the physical heart, not just like the metaphorical, heart. It's just like a physical heart. And it's just sitting there. And in that darker field of energy, where I almost want to take that pain and get it out there into the light, so that the darker energies could be transmuted and dissolved, and there could be more light going through your energy field, supporting your cells, so the cells can support your tissues, so then the tissues can support your organs, and your body could be more aligned with a better physical health. I'm obviously not giving any medical advice. I'm just talking about the principles and how energetics affects our body. And so if you're, obviously not doing super good, you need to seek medical advice. But if you're holding on to and struggling, trying to forgive someone, I feel like this is a very strong invitation. And this invitation will come to you over periods of time. But it is, because it's showing up, it's a good time to address it. And it's okay if you can't completely move past the hurt, but if you can shift it a bit to a lighter phase, I feel like first it goes like hatred, and then it's like, because there's, animosity, thinking how this person could do this to me. There could be hatred towards ourselves, how I let this happen. Then it could be something like numbing, where you're like, I don't care about this person, whatever. It happened. I'm not going to even look at it. Then it goes into maybe a small step of forgiveness, where you're like, well, they did it because they didn't know what's going to hurt me, or did it because they were raised a certain way, or whatever it might be. Not an excuse for their behavior, but finding understanding why they behave a certain way towards you. Whew. So yeah, I feel like the invitation for forgiveness are going to be coming back and back to you, giving you this opportunity to release that energy. And honestly, once you start opening this up, there are more wounds that are going to be pouring into the light. And I feel our body is very smart that way, that whatever was stored deeply, if it sees the windows of opportunity, it's going to be bringing it to the surface. So once you address very well known forgiveness factor in your life, I feel like there's going to be more and more coming up. So pay attention to that, so you can continue working with it and letting more light, again, like penetrate your energy field and help you get rid of the things no longer needed. But that's a big one, deck number 1. That's a big invitation. Okay, let's see what else Spirit wants you to know. I want to get this deck. Anything helpful for deck number 1 to know? Any suggestions? I haven't used this deck in a very long time, but it's been calling me for a few months now. So let's see. What else deck number 1 needs to know, Spirit? Way too many cards. Give me one. All right, here we go. We've got the skunk and magnolia, protection. With that card, I feel that one of the reasons why you didn't want to work and were avoiding and hiding from this issue is because you were protecting your heart, you were protecting yourself, or more like your ego was protecting you from digging deeper and um, pulling those painful memories up to the surface. And so that's why it was kind of, you were avoiding it. You didn't want to think about it because you knew it's going to be painful to look at it. You knew it's going to be painful to remember the circumstances you were in when that, hurt happened, that betrayal happened, that treatment happened, that trauma happened, and your heart was broken, and all the heavily charged emotions start accumulating. And but now it's like, again, it's the time of opening up. It's time to bringing that light. For some of you, I also felt like you used it as a, and that we do that. I've done it, where we are using it as as, I don't want to say an excuse, but I guess that's the word, for not allowing us to do things in our lives. It's something that would slow us down. We would deny ourselves pleasure. We would deny ourselves opportunities because we were telling ourselves that story that I can't do it because this happened, or I am, undesirable because this happened, or I'm unlovable because how they treated me. And if I was lovable, they wouldn't ever done that, and things like that. For all of you, it's different reasons, but it is something that made you play along the story. And therefore, um, what is the word when you're just becoming smaller and smaller, in instead of stepping into your power and being like, no, that's not who I am. And owning it and taking responsibility for it. And for some of you, you might be like, how is supposed to take responsibility for it if I was a child, for example, right? I do believe things happen for a reason, though, but no matter how hard it's hard for us to see the whole picture, I believe if we won't be able to see it through this lifetime, after we transition, the picture is going to be clear. But we don't need to wait for it. I think it would be better for us to be able to work with it right now. Okay, deck number 1. Let's see what else. A lot of cards were wanted to come out from this deck, so let's use it. Let's use it for you. I think maybe it got super excited to be used again, so it's like, woo, let's go. What else deck number 1 needs to know about the forgiveness? See, it keeps giving me too many cards. Give me one. Okay, I'll take that one. The Crow and Dogwood. It talks about intelligence. And what just showed to me is the darkness and the light. Do you see how both animals are dark? Do you see how the main picture is also very, very dark? But along the side of the animals, the flowers are white. And also in the middle picture, do you see how that light of forgiveness coming through, opening up your heart? So to me, it is just another confirmation of moving this darker energy. You know how I mentioned darker energies, suppressed energies, heavily charged emotions that were suppressed down in the darkness of your soul, so that you don't have to deal with it. Now it's time. This is an invitation again to, even though you see it as a darkness, to bring it up so that it can be transmuted. To me, the white flowers symbolize support and symbolize light. And it also, what I'm getting is that there's a need for polarity. There's a need for contrast. but everything serves its purpose. So I don't want to say that good is better than bad, because I feel that there is purpose in what we consider to be bad. But if you've listened to my other readings, you know I'm not here to bring you unicorns and rainbows, although I do have a unicorn deck I like to use. Uh, and I do want to inspire you to see the light within yourself and love yourself unconditionally. But my reading is more about invitation of addressing things that's slowing you down and empowering you to own it and work through it, so that you can bring more compassion into your life, not just only your life, but the lives of your loved ones. Um, Change to people who surround you, because we're all sending ripples out in the universe. We're all part of this, and we all intertwine with one another. And so, sooner you address this, uh, again, like I don't want to say it, I don't want to use the word issue because it doesn't sound like the right word, the right frequency. But as long as you address this heaviness, this darkness of not being able to forgive, the sooner you'll be able to move into a better alignment and therefore positively impact those who surround you. And you might think like, I just live in a garden by myself, or like in a place where there's nobody around me but my garden. I don't know why this is coming through. And you're like, I'm just here with my plants. That's all. How can I, how is that affecting the plants? But honestly, your energy frequency does affect everything around you. And even the way you care for the plants also, they can feel it. I believe that. Uh, Thank you so much for tuning in this week, deck number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope this was helpful. I think it's amazing how we got these dark animals with the white flowers and the same resonance with the middle card. And hold on, 10, 15, 16. So you have 26, 16, and 21. Those numbers might mean something to you as well. I am going to say goodbye at this point, but if you want, please leave a comment below and share your story, share whatever you feel like you want to share with me. I try to respond as soon as I can see your messages, your comments, and I just wish you lots of love. You can do it, deck number 1. Take care. Hello, deck number 2. Welcome to this week's Pick a Card general reading. I'm so excited you're here. Welcome, welcome. Today we have a little bit different setup. I am actually watching my friend's house and her taking care of her doggies while she is on vacation. So I had to improvise, but the energies is still the same to receive channeled messages for you. If you watch my other videos, you know that I typically choose a question for the week ahead, unless I feel leaving a space for spirit to come through and answer whatever needs to be answered, or showing whatever needs to be shown for those who are tapping in, tuning in. Well, I know you're all dying to know what the question for this week. It is actually what deck number 2 are you hiding from? So buckle up. I'm gonna get into some things. Deck number 1, deck number 2. Are you ready for this reading? Let's see. What are you hiding from? Deck number 2. Let's flip this card. You got repair. It says making amends rather than fun times reveals a relationship's true connection. This is quite interesting, and it's funny that I said deck number 1, because deck number 1 was all about forgiveness. And if you were pulled between these two cards, 1 and 2, go also check out deck number 1 reading after this one. With this, although I feel a little bit different energy, because we're not just talking about forgiveness, we're talking about what comes after forgiveness. We're talking about making amends. We're talking about repairing what have been broken or torn a bit. Not even a bit, actually. I want to say significantly torn between you and another person. And there's always a choice. There's always a choice. Deck number 2, either try to put some effort into repairing it, or is it time for you to move on because there is no repair, in a sense that maybe you wanting to repair but the other person doesn't, right? Or the opposite, maybe you feel like no matter what the other person would try to do, there is no way you could feel the same way about someone. It just passed that point of return. Because what I'm getting from this card is that you got to the point in life, it's almost like everyone, not everyone, like your partner or your significant other is there for himself or herself, and the same for you. You kind of start living in your own world, doing your own thing, less and less connected to that other person. It could be also a family member that once you were close, but now, you had something that came between you two, and now it's like separation and doing your own thing and not connecting, and therefore allowing that tear to grow bigger and bigger between you two. Again, it's up to you to choose and see if this separation worth of repair and effort, being put into reconnecting, or is it the time to separate? And like this card brings the good point of how two people might be living so long together that they're in a habit and they know that it's not the same, there's no closeness, but they've been doing it so long, it's almost like they ignoring this gap. And you know how I said the question we're answering this week for you, deck number 2, is what is it you're hiding from? What are you ignoring? And this is the thing that cards are showing us this week, is that the gap between you two is what you've been ignoring. And for some of you, it has been a long time, because you just can't find or couldn't find in yourself the ability to deal with it. You maybe don't believe in your own strength. Maybe you just doubting how you're going to survive on your own in this point of your life. You might doubt that there is, it's going to be much harder to be on your own than what's going on now. At least there is some kind of support, maybe not emotional, but maybe financially. It's easier, obviously, when two people put finances together versus one trying to do it, right? So whatever reasons, it's just the gap is growing and growing, and you've been ignoring it for too long. This is what I am picking up from this energy. And it's almost like the stubbornness where everyone's just looking at the damage from their side and not just wanting to admit their own involvement in this. And I feel for some of you, it's been because there's been such a long time where something happened and it wasn't addressed, and it grew in a bigger thing, and it grew in a bigger thing, and it started attracting smaller things. But those smaller things, those smaller disagreements, someone offended another person on a smaller level. It wasn't something giant, but it added. Maybe it started with something significant and you're able to move on, but not fully forgive. And then it's just pestered. Something wasn't addressed, something wasn't taken out of the garden. But at this point, it feels, it doesn't matter whose fault it was. The energy is both of you maybe not so stubborn. You just seeing it from your side, and you don't want to give in the position of being the one who's like just standing there and waiting for another person to come in and do the work of repair. Does that make sense? Not all of you, but some of you. And it's almost like you're focusing on the just this is the strong energy I've been getting through as soon as we flip the card. You're only focusing on your side of things and just being in a bit of a victim mindset where you're like, well, he did it or she did it. They can fix it, and not owning it and not taking responsibility. And so I feel that what those are the messages for you, deck number 2. What are the cards are trying to show us and tell us this week? And if you're new to my channel, just fair warning, I'm not going to talk about flowers and unicorns, although I do have a deck I use that is Oracle of the Unicorns, and I do have beautiful artistic decks with flowers and things like that. But I do believe in empowering you to make those choices, to take responsibility, love yourself no matter what. This is just the learning and growing process, evolution of our soul and growth, and we are contributing this to the whole. So, yeah, my readings might not be super light and inspiring, but they're true. They're true to the human experience, and they're true to how we see things, but also how everyone has a choice of how to deal with it, how to look at things, how to, they have a choice to either correct something or let it go. Or honestly, there is no, to me, right or wrong choice, but everything has consequences. So, say if I overeat, I know the consequences of that. My belly is going to be probably feeling heavy. I might feel bloated, and things like that. Was it good or bad? I think it's what we make of it. But there's obviously a consequence to that. Or lighter dinner. If I had lighter dinner, maybe then I sleep better. And then maybe in the morning it's easier to wake up and things like that, right? So there's always consequences for things. And I just want to empower you to look at yourself and always remember you have a choice to change things. And also always remember to love yourself and show yourself grace. All right. Deck number 2. Let's see what else is going to show up for you. I'm going to use this deck over here. Spirit, what else deck number 2 needs to know about this? This card, I swear, likes to come out of this deck. This is the Fallen Angel. Let's see. I'm sorry if the cards are crooked this week. I am not doing this reading from home. This is a different setup. This card says Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. Oh, let me see. I'm kind of laughing a bit or sighing because it just feels in a way of like a person just closed in and doesn't want to deal with things. That's the energy. And again, like this week, we're just talking about things you've been hiding from, you're afraid to face. So those cards today are invitation. These cards are invitation for you to address it for your own good, You can take this advice, you can take this channel messages and apply to your life, or you can just say no, thank you, and move on with your life. But as I said, everything has its consequences. And there's another energy I'm picking up right now is the fear of letting go. Big fear of letting go. What if you just let go of this connection? What if you let go of the life you built together? What if you just, don't want to say give up, but in a sense of letting go of like not trying so hard. especially for those of you who wanted to fix this gap in between, and then all your efforts came back fruitless, because maybe the other person not putting the same energy into the things. There are two set in life and in the way they think. It's almost like rigid, but no matter what you try to do, they're not meeting you halfway even, or maybe even like a quarter way they're not meeting you. So for some of you, you're like afraid of letting go because you don't know who you're going to be without that style of life, without your habits with this other person, life you build together. Who are you without it? And so you're afraid to let go. Some of you, what I'm getting is there's a pride involved where you just do not want to give up because there is a thought or belief in you that says if you give up, you're failing. You failed yourself, you failed your children, you failed this, union, failed. So again, those are not very helpful thoughts, and you can choose to do whatever you'd like. But those are just the energies I'm picking up, and I am gonna voice them to honor them. I'm just tuning in to see what else I want to say from this card, because I do feel more energies coming through, but they're like encouraging of you to like hit the ground, see how low you can go in it, in the reality of things, and you can only go up from that point. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, I want to move, and the readings this week are getting long. So let me choose another card for you and see what Spirit wants to tell you. Deck number 2. About repairing, about making amends, about letting go. This is the card that wanted to come out for you. Deck number 2. It says, in the world, not of the world. And this is like a lady swimming with salmon in the waters with the forest behind you or behind her. And with this card, I feel the energy of if you're able to release, if you're able to let go of that identity of who you are with your partner, or with the life you've built, I feel like you're going to feel so much lighter and freer, and because you will be returning more to yourself, to your inner being, inner light, inner essence, because I feel like you always knew who you are, but you confront it. You adjusted and changed your behavior in views to fit views and expectations of another, and you were not really honoring completely who you truly are at the core. Does that make sense? And I feel like if you just let it go, drop it, and able to face yourself and start feeling into who you truly are and what your heart desire, you might see that, I feel like for you, it would take courage to see what you desire truly and admit that maybe this is the end of the story with another person, and now it's time for you to open up to flow of life. I feel like she's in the stream where she can now finally move with the flow. And here she's stopped living life. She's just, or he, she, I just say she because she's, we have a woman on the card, but it could be, you could be he, right? You could be the one who is leaving, but I'm just saying because it's the easier for me to refer to her, she. Anyways, I feel like the flow will take you, and it would be so much easier to flow with the current and not fight against it. And that is the message for you, deck number 2. A lot to process, I know. I'm sending you lots of love. It's up to you how you are addressing your obviously life situation. Um, but I always would encourage anyone to listen to themselves first, listen to what the heart wants truly, like truly from the heart space, not the mind space, not the ego space, but from the heart space, and see what you can do to truly honor who you are. All right, deck number 2, that this is a longer reading. I thank you for tuning in this week, and I'll see you at the next reading. Bye. Hello, deck number 3, and welcome to this week Pick a Card general reading. I am so excited to have you here. I just recorded first 2 cards, and I'm excited to get to this one. It's been deep. It's been very, very interesting. The question that I intuitively picked for this week card reading is, what are you hiding from? What are you avoiding, right? So I am curious to see what is the message for you, deck number 3. And let's just flip the card and see. I am in a different setting today, so I apologize if the cards are a little crooked. I'm watching my friend's house and her taking care of her dogs. So, you know, it might be a little bit crooked, but the energy is still the same. I'm channeling the messages for you this week. And let's see what Spirit wants us to know. All right, deck number 3. This card says, assistance with access. It is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. Okay, deck number 3. And this is pretty clear. The messages that I am getting, the energies, is that for whatever reason, and because this is a general reading, you might have different people who are listening. Each of you might have different reasoning for it. For some of you, it's conditioning, where you've grown up learning that it's not okay to ask, because maybe as a child, when you would ask, your needs would be dismissed, or even worse, punished because you ask, right? Some of you think it's not polite, is what I'm getting, to ask for help. And some of you a little bit more prideful. You want to do it yourself. Some of you lost the faith in others, and you believe that if anything needs to be done, you have to do it yourself. Some of you think if you ask, then you have to give back, and then it puts you in the place of owing something to another person. And so you avoid asking for help or accepting any help for that belief. I hope you see how most of it sound very unhelpful, right? I want to honor your belief system, but if that's working, it's not honoring you. Let's try to work with it and change it to the ones that actually help you and benefit you in your life. And so things that you're possibly are hiding from, things that you are avoiding, is actually asking for help from another person, or maybe a few people. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's in a family situation, family dynamics, maybe it's from, I'm just getting a lot of different things. But the whole point of it is, you, for whatever reason, doesn't want to open your mouth or take a phone in your hands and text and say, hey, I really would appreciate help with something. For some of you, you're just not honoring your own needs. You are more of a people pleaser, and even for you to say those things is like, that's what I'm getting. But there's different things I can talk about when it comes to having difficulties with asking. But what I'm like to do is tune into the energies, and what I'm feeling for you, deck number 3, is denying your own needs. And when you deny your own needs, you can not also show up for others. So not only are you denying your own needs, you're denying someone else's. For some of you, these are different energies that are coming through, is that you are sitting there and in your little space and you're just expecting someone come in and help you. You have this expectation and desire for something else or someone else to step in and rescue you, save you, do things that would be helpful, beneficial for you. All right. But yet again, you're not the person who addresses their own needs. You're kind of like closed off to receiving. So when we close to receiving, we cannot really flow in and out. It's all about moving the energy. You're giving, you're receiving. And you know what? Sometimes receiving is giving. It's just, it has to flow. You cannot be so rigid about that. It just has to move. It has to flow, is what I am getting. It's like this card, she's finding the key. She's holding the key. She doesn't need to find it. She's holding the key, but she's finding that she needs to unlock her heart, her inner space, but it's up to her. It's up to her to be able to do that and access that beautiful, beautiful inner space. I feel like there's more that can come out, more things that she can share. And I'm saying she just for the like easiness of conversation, because it, you know, if you're listening and you're masculine, then just, you know, change it to you, to fit you. But because the card has a girl here, I feel like saying she. But it's in your hands, deck number 3. You're so close. For whatever reason, there's resistance. You just do not want to ask for help. Let's see what else the cards can show us. I just feel like it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing else to talk about besides that, you know, this is the point. The reasons for it could be so many different ones, but, and you know, and I invite you to think where this streaming for you from, or streaming for you from, and go from there. But let me see what else is going to come through for you. What else deck number 3 needs to know when it comes to accepting help from others, asking for help? What else do you guys need to know? Huh. You're not going to believe it. Like, you can't make this stuff up. I wish I have more room that I can show you when the card falls out, but you have to take my word for it. So this one says open up. You're being asked to open your heart to another, to let down your walls and trust that they want what's best for you. When you ask for help, trust that they want what's best for you as well. Your life will open up in wonderful ways once you decide to open up. See, like, the key you're holding is for you to open up that space. But you have to trust that it's okay to open your heart to another and ask them for help, whatever it might be. Do you know that recently I had this, I don't know how to say it, experience, the thing's been shown to me and reminded me that a lot of times when we get into trauma, it's because of someone, right? It happens because of someone. It doesn't happen usually on its own. It involves other relationships. And then why do we think that we have to heal by ourselves? Why do we think we have to isolate ourselves, to go into solitary mode, not show our pain to anyone, and just slowly, you know, or desperately try to fix ourselves by ourselves without someone witnessing our healing, without another, you know, helping us on, holding that space for us, witnessing our growth, our healing path. Why do we think we have to go and hide? So I feel like this is the invitation for you guys. Like, you're so close. Just take the leap of faith, open up, trust, and go through with it. Okay. Learn how, for some of you, this is a ladder. You have to learn, ask again and again. Even if the first answer is going to be no from someone, it doesn't mean that, and maybe that's why you're stopping. It doesn't mean that continuing in your life, every time you ask, you're going to receive the same answer. Do you know how you always hear the stories for people being rejected, but they're famous now for whatever different things they did, but to get to the point that they had to be rejected so many times, and so I feel like for you, for some of you, it's like, it's okay if you asked for help in the past and it didn't work out, and you got let down and now you have this fear. As long as you're attached to the fear, as long as you think that's how always things are, that's what you're going to be looking for to confirm your belief. So start working in that direction. I can't get over how it's like, it's telling you open up. It's the same. It's just so connected, so clear. All right, let's see what another card. And I'm talking and I'm like losing my breath, and my chest is hurting. It's really hurting now in my heart chakra, and I'm like so there's a definitely healing that needs to happen in your heart, your chest space, to be able to work through whatever it might be for you, to be able to connect with another and trust again. Okay. Whew. Let me ground myself and see what deck I should use. All right. I'm going to use this, guys. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. What else can help deck number 3 to open up, to heal, to trust another, for them to ask for help? I got 2 cards. I'm going to take them. Scooch, scooch, scooch. Oh, you got 3 cards. All right. Let's see what we can do. Determination. Okay. Do you remember how I said sometimes you have to ask and ask and ask? I have to be a little bit stubborn there to believe that. You know what I'm getting, right? Decide for yourself just how you have that belief system where you think, oh, if I ask, I'm not going to get help. You can also have the belief system where you're like, yeah, whenever I ask, I'm going to get help. No matter what, I'm not going to be left alone. There's always someone to love and support me. You can have, you can adopt that belief system. You're so powerful. You can convince yourself in anything. You can convince yourself to empower yourself, or you can convince yourself to give your power away to circumstances, people, and whatever else. The next card you have here is the Bat and Hellbore, Intuition. Yeah, trust your intuition. Reconnect with it. Do you see how the Bat is kind of leaning towards that flower? I feel that you creating a space for intuition and returning to tapping into it would be helpful. But one of the things why you're able to receive that access to it is because your heart is open and healing. And there's less blockages, energetically speaking. So yeah, for you, deck number 3, it's important to reconnect with your intuition. And let's see what the last card says. There's a cute little mouse that says innocence. The mouse and Buttercup. Look how cute it is. Yeah, before you harden your heart through your life experiences, there was you innocent, there was you curious, there was you looking forward to things in life, experiences, connections. Well, not only connections with others like people, but also connection with nature, with animals, and you kind of lost the need for it, in the sense that you're prioritizing other things in life more than nurturing that little child in you, right? That little one who is still in there. You just have to unlock it. You have to unlock it and bring it forward so that you can have access to it. Open up that door so you can see again who you can be, what you can do, um, to live a more fulfilling life. You have to be a bit stubborn about it. You have to choose you, prioritize you, and stick with it. Choose things that working for you, and play. Also play. Come out more. Figure out the things that bring you joy. They don't have to be anything major or expensive. It could be as little as coloring inside the coloring book, because it's something that you enjoyed as a small child, or maybe volunteer at animal shelter. Maybe, I don't know why this is coming from me, but like I'm seeing bunnies. Maybe you really love bunnies as a child and still do, and you can volunteer at the rescue that has bunnies or birds, and like small animals. And you can, obviously, cats and dogs, um, reptiles, whatever is your thing, horses, farm animals. But for some of you, that was a big part of what made you feel connected and trusting, because I hear that often. I'd rather trust an animal than a person. But we are part of one another, and we are all connected. We are all one. And mistrust creates energetic barriers. And so some of them, good things cannot come to you. Okay. Ask for them, ask for help. What else? Yeah, I just want to encourage you to, again, return to that self-love. Open up your heart to another. And maybe you'll start with a little animal, and you can grow from there. Well, that's all I have for you, deck number 3. This week's readings went on a little bit longer than usual, but they're deep, and I feel necessary invitations to address things that we've been hiding from. So I hope you will consider messages from this week's reading, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.